I saw all the episodes in just one sitting. So
Wow.
thank you for my Saturday.
I know,
It was
that's
a
a
fun
day.
day. It was
That's
a
so
fun day.
special.
Very admirable.
Wow.
Nice.
I think we are all imperfect people, and that's what makes life interesting.
Amen.
You, as an actor, as an actress, prefer to portray roles like these ones, not like the typical good one or the bad one. Like the grayish ones are more challenging, as an artist to portray it. This question is to each one of you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the only thing to do.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky, for sure. You're always looking for the multidimensional characters. You're always looking for the other side of the coin. You're always trying to play more than one thing at once, and if you're lucky, if you get the writing and you get the right material, you can do that and you can explore it. But I think we are three actresses who have it is, I think, very important to all three of us to have that duality and to be able to play the stronger sides of a character and the vulnerable sides of a character, and to be able to have those two exist at the same time, just like they do in life.
Yeah.
I think is something I'm not going to speak we've all done really well. These two, I've gotten the pleasure of watching them do really well for many, many years.
Kerry and Kate, do you want to add something?
Well, I agree with what you said, and I think that the best characters, definitely on TV and film, are the characters that are, um, even the ones that are technically you would call a villain. Like they can't all be bad, otherwise we wouldn't love them. So like Tony Soprano,
Mhm.
Tommy Shelby, all of these characters who are, doing all these really bad things. There's also all these other layers to them that make you really make them very endearing. And so I think that these women also have a lot of that, like just different layers. They're not one thing or another thing. They just are.
Kerry, do you think things are getting better for actresses regarding good roles? Like, for example, developing this type of series for platforms in this case.
Yeah, I think we were saying earlier that we've all been very lucky. We've been able to play very complicated, complex, three-dimensional characters throughout our careers. So we have been very, very lucky to have the opportunity to do that. But often we were the only woman in the story. And I think what's changing, what's really exciting when I think about, shows like White Lotus or Big Little Lies or our show, like that you're now making room for the complexity of more than just one woman, that we're exploring complicated friendships because we're not being siloed and like there can only be one complicated woman in that story. There's only room for one in that. So to be able to play three women in relationship with each other who are all complicated, three women who all have carried our own shows, to lend our power together to one show is really exciting.
And you know what? The engagement with the audience, it's much stronger with characters like these ones.
Yeah.
Because it's more real. It's like
Yeah.
real.
I
Even
think I have to
that's
take my hat off too to the men on the show, because I think like all of the men are doing extraordinary work as well.
they're
And
fantastic. Yeah.
right. And it's been really fun to see how much men are enjoying the series as well. I mean, for you to have watched it all in one day makes me so happy.
Yeah. Important to us. And even though it's Imperfect Women in the title and there are three female leads, it was very important in the development process and in the writing process and in the shooting to make sure that those male characters were just as interesting. Usually you're doing that with the women. And this time we were trying to make sure the men had
men were
interesting
taken
roles.
care of.
Yes.
Yeah.
They weren't just supporting us.
Yes.
But they really did. And I mean, you can tell by the caliber of actor that we were able to get. And it said yes, with Joel, Corey, and Leslie. These are three actors that are not wanting for work, that can do whatever they want at this point and are at the top of their game. And I think you can tell that these roles were complicated and interesting enough to get them to say yes.
One more question. What are the limits of a friendship? What are the things that you can do and you can't do?
Oof.
Depending on your own opinion of it.
that's one of the questions I think the show is asking. I think one of the fundamental questions of the show is like, what is too much? Like, at what point have you gone beyond the limitations of what you can call a friendship? So I think it's really exciting to watch because it's different for everybody. And that's why it's scary to be honest sometimes, because you don't know when you're going to cross that line and lose somebody.
There might be a secret that you think if you tell that friend that they're never going to speak to you again, or a betrayal that if you told them they would never be your friend again, and you just don't know that that's the case. You just don't know, and it's those secrets that tear these friendships apart.
Yeah.
That they have to get past, which I think is very relatable.
Well, ladies, the series, it's a blast. Thank you very much for your time.
you.
Thank
Had a
you.
great time seeing you.
Heraldo Podcast, un lugar para tus oídos.